Marina, can I just ask you first, what were your feelings? How did you feel when you got the news or heard the news that Evan Gershkovich and Kara-Murza, Vladimir Kara-Murza, were being released?
Um, it's just great news, but we already discussed about this. So what happened to Gershkovich a few weeks ago when he received this 16 years sentence, it gave me some hope he would be released. He became a very pricely figure for exchange. And this is obvious, was a good chance for Vladimir Kara-Murza, who just disappeared a few days ago from hospital. And now we have these two people be free. And I think it's amazing news. I feel sometimes myself a little bit more optimistic, but now it feels I was reasonable optimistic.
Yes. And it's worth reflecting, isn't it, on what the loved ones and the families of those who are mistreated by Vladimir Putin's regime go through. I mean, you sadly suffered the loss of your husband. In Evan's case, he has parents, he has a sister. They must be feeling enormous relief. And it's worth reflecting on what those family members and loved ones go through as a consequence of Vladimir Putin's, well, cruelty and cynicism.
Of course, this moment we're talking about a positive background, and a family has back their son, brother, and this is most amazing. But everything what happened to them for this last period of time, it's a tragedy, and we never know how it might affect these people in the future. Yes, and who will pay for this? Of course, nobody. But I have another point. We have this good exchange, but we don't know what's behind of this agreement. What's this another price? Why Russian and Putin himself agreed suddenly to make this exchange?
Yes, yes. I mean, we do understand, don't we, Marina, that an officer in the FSB, in the security service, a hitman, a killer, has been released and sent on his way to Turkey. It looks as if an exchange of some kind was involved in this. And what do you say about that? Because I guess there could be, probably will be, more seizure of foreigners, for example, and others as bargaining chips in the future.
Yes, but what I'm trying to say, I just would like not to see Ukraine would be this kind of price. And this is agreement between Russia, United States, and maybe other European country made this chance to press more Ukraine for negotiation in a way what might be Putin and Russia wanted to make this peaceful agreement or make a some stop in this war. This is my curious about this exchange. You know, it makes me feel a little bit very happy for what happened, but we still don't know what behind of this agreement.
Yes, I mean, are you're saying then that you're concerned that whatever the full terms that led to Evan and the Russian dissident Vladimir Kara-Murza's release, the price should not be too high, and certainly should not compromise a cause such as the cause of Ukraine. That's your point.
Absolutely, you understand me very much clearly. Yes.
Okay, now tell me, do you think more widely, Marina, do you think Vladimir Putin, do you think the Kremlin care about world opinion when it comes to a case like this?
No, I don't think so, because there never been care. And I have all rights to say this. When my husband was killed in London by radioactive polonium, and after proper investigation and after public inquiry, when all evidence is shown in front of all world, Putin's regime still denied they did it.
Yes.
They never agreed for any investigation inside of Russia. They always blamed circle of my husband. They killed him, but never make any effort to make this case sorted and make this like a new stage in the relationship between Russia and United Kingdom. And
Yes.
this I never will believe to anything what it might be saying we want to make a better face front of world community. No, what I said, this something else.
Yes, yes. I suppose, well, we know that Vladimir Putin himself takes a kind of perverse pride in the cruelty and cynicism when it comes to seizing innocent people, when it comes to assassinations of people overseas. It is to him, isn't it, something to do with revenge? That is a motive in itself when it comes to the leader of the Kremlin and those around him.
You're absolutely right. And I think it's very important to calculate what might be next. Because this kind of regime, what Putin built it, what we have in Iran, in North Korea, they just realize using nuclear weapon or they can do what they want, what
Yeah.
happened to Russia against Ukraine. And now when we can see a killer and spy might be exchanged just with the
Yes.
people who are innocent, they've been just a journalist or a positioner, it might be makes this like another stage. They might send people to kill European citizens or people who've been disagree with Putin's regime, and then just to be safe because they will always have somebody in Russia for exchange.
Yes, but I guess if you are a murderous dictatorship, if you are such a cynical regime, you will behave like that, and there's a limit to what anyone else can do. On this occasion, well, a deal was done, and the outcome from the point of view of Evan and from the point of view of Vladimir was a positive one. Do you think, Marina, that the campaigning that's taken place to draw attention to Evans' detention by newspapers like his own, the Wall Street Journal, like other news organizations associated with the Wall Street Journal, they spoke out every day that he was in detention. Do you think that must have helped? That must have helped surely in just keeping attention on the subject.
I think it's helpful in a very serious way. Family of these people felt supported. And this is very important. When you asked me about the family of Evan and Vladimir Kara-Murza, I think it was the most serious when every day the new people think about their sons, brothers. And this is what was journalists should do. And has to be done, what you said, every day. Yes, it's very important.
And well, so comfort for those, those loved ones who are suffering at home, and also a kind of pressure on the leaders of Evans' country, for example, on the United States, not to let up on the pressure if they were minded to. I don't suggest they were, but it helps to keep that kind of pressure on, doesn't it?
Yes, again, this pressure is absolutely essential, but we know mostly negotiation is going behind,
Yes.
and maybe we will still don't know who is a real person responsible for this exchange. But again, it doesn't matter. We have these people be free, and this is most important news. Yes,
Yeah.
I think people who might feel this pressure from journalists, and maybe they have this responsibility and this power, they have to do everything to save innocent people who are prisoner now in Russia or any other regimes.
So again, that pressure might have been helpful. But what about Russian public opinion, Marina? We know, I mean, you mentioned Ukraine. There is support within the Russian public for the war in Ukraine. Maybe that's less than it was, but there is support there. What about the use of these gangster tactics by the Kremlin, by Vladimir Putin? How do ordinary Russians feel about that?
It's difficult for me to judge
Indeed.
what happened to ordinary Russian people, but unfortunately, most of them even don't know for what happened. And
Yes.
they have not interest. But for another people, and I would say not all Russian are completely indifferent and don't think about this. No, we still have a lot of Russian and volunteers who support Ukrainian people, who still, in a way, fighting against Putin's regime. This is a very important news. No, it's any positive news what helped you to realize something happened good against this Putin regime. For these people, it's a very important moment.
And you, Marina, I know you will carry on your campaign of opposition against the Kremlin regime and the conduct and the misconduct of its leader. Do you feel at risk? You must feel it to some degree permanently at risk. You must be on their list of enemies, Marina. Does that frighten you from time to time?
From the very beginning, when my husband was killed, I can't say I felt any dangerous because I was just a widow. I was a woman who lost her husband, the father of our son. And was a different way how Putin's regime tried to fight against oppositioner. But now we can see more and more examples when journalists became poisoned, when some innocent people been even killed, I would say. It shows like this regime became more brutal. Yes, it might be dangerous for people now. I can't say I feel safe more or less safe, but I try to calculate for what might happen now to people who are fighting against this Putin regime.
Right. Well, Marina, we send our very best wishes to you, as always, and we can all, I guess, share in the deep feeling of relief among, well, Evan's family, who must be feeling such a burden being lifted at this moment.
All my best wishes to all these families. Yes.